Hello everyone, do you guys enjoy whacking enemies with your massive stick? Do you want an extremely good Wukong build and even two that are gonna help you out to whack enemies much harder with your stick? Well, in today's video, two Wukong builds for you guys, and without any more delays, we will quickly get into the passive and the abilities. The passive being that you are lucky enough to basically be killed 3 times and revived at the same time. When you do get revived, when taking lethal damage, you have 2 seconds of invulnerability, and you also restore 50% of your health. And also, when you die, you will get one of 4 buffs. The 4 buffs being up on the screen right now. Primal Forces basically gives you elemental damage for 60 seconds, Heavenly Cloak, invisibility, Cosmic Armor, invulnerability, Monkey Luck, enemies yield extra jobs for 60 seconds. So, very good. But we don't want to die, but you can, and we will talk about that a little bit later on. And also, just forgot to say, you do have Sly Alchemy as well. Orbs are 4 times more effective for 60 seconds, so there you go, keep that in mind. That's very cool. But Celestial Twin is his first ability. This basically summons a clone of Wukong that uses sort of different weapons than you do. So if you're using your primary, he's going to use your melee weapon. If you use your melee weapon, he's going to use your primary, and if you use, different weapons. But we are focusing on his 4th ability, which is Primal Fury. You're going to be using your Iron Staff, so he's going to be using the same weapon as you are, but he has more health and more damage. And once you activate him, you will not need to activate him, anymore, unless you go into a nullifier bubble. Now, Cloud Walker is one of the best abilities in the game, bar none. This is an extremely good maneuvering ability, and this ability allows Wukong to heal himself as well per radius traveled, or per meters traveled. And this does have a little bit of a stun, so you can, finisher some enemies, so that's gonna be pretty cool. But this is gonna allow him to be extremely good also for spy, capture, and extermination missions, or mostly spy and capture and rescue. So he's very cool for that. And the Defy is his 3rd ability. Basically, you and your clone, if he's active, you expose, ready yourselves up, absorb damage, gain a maximum of 1500 armor. It is dependent, of course, on your power strength as well, but the cap is set at 1500. And you're also going to multiply the damage received and dish it out in a radius. Now, this could be useful in plenty of situations. If you have pillage on your Wukong, which a viewer suggested to me, Devious King, hello, that's going to be very good. I sadly didn't get the chance to test out that build too much, but I really wanted to demonstrate these 2 amazing builds for you guys, but that 3rd one might be coming along. But this ability is going to be the ability we're going to change out for our other 2 helmets. One of them, and the main one, being Wrathful Advance from Kullervo. This is going to make this weapon shine, and basically this is also going to be very good for maneuverability if you really need it. And it's also very good because this one-shots acolytes, but believe me, with the buff that this gives you, this will be plenty enough for you to just whack the acolyte 2 times and he's going to be basically disappearing. The 2nd ability is going to be Nourish. Now, you could choose Roar if you really want to, but Pillage but Nourish is much better in my opinion. But this will basically give me Viral, even though the Iron Staff itself does impact damage, but Viral is always good, and having a multiplier and also more energy. So there you go. But if you really want to, you can definitely use Roar. And now for the final ability. Primal Fury. This was what we're going to be focusing on. This is your whack-a-mole stick. This is basically a separate weapon that you can use. It cannot sadly use melee arcanes, and it doesn't benefit from the combo counter at all. That's why we use Wrathful Advance, so we don't really need it. It is dependent on power strength as well, and how you actually mod the weapon, which we will be getting into quite soon enough. But this is going to be very good because this is going to be killing everything. You will basically do not need your melee weapon at all. But what you guys need is the Wukong build. Let's focus on the Wrathful Advance build. This is it right here. So basically, we put in Steel Charge for more damage on our stick, because this actually does more damage, or gives us a higher damage increase than Growing Power would. I do use Handspring. If you have it, use Prime Sure-Footed. We basically have health, a lot of duration, and also a lot of power strength, and that is basically what we need to focus on, because all of our abilities are or duration based, or they're going to be, of course, increased and beneficial strength wise as well. So Arcane Guardian can be switched out for whatever you want. want Arcane Fury, can be switched out for Arcane Strike if you have it, if you want more attack speed, if you, for example, don't want that much damage, because you're getting a lot of damage anyways. And I do want to mention the Nourish build looks like this. So these are going to be the two builds you probably have been looking in right now, the screen. The first part was the Wrathful Advance, second part right now is going to be Nourish build in the background, just so you know. So both of these builds are pretty much usable. Now, you lose out on the amazing critical chance, but we do have this beautiful Helminth Primal Rage. This will increase our critical chance up to 150% in my case, and that's going to be very good. It's not going to be red crits for our Iron Staff, but it's going to be pretty close enough. It's going to be good enough to actually, you know, lose out on that Wrathful Advance. So we have focused on that. Let's talk about the Archon Shards. Now, the Archon Shards are nothing too special. I could honestly put on more, but we have 2 for casting speed, 25%. Casting speed is always amazing. We have 50%, or I guess 50 energy max, and 1 that's going to give us melee critical damage of 7.5%. Yes. Now, you can put in one more red one, but I don't necessarily think he needs one. It is personal choice, or you can put in another blue one if you want to, so the last slot is sort of a flex slot in itself. So, we have talked about that. Let's talk about the power, or I guess the focus school of choice, which is going to be Madurai, because the Iron Staff is not dependent on the combo counter at all. As I mentioned earlier, we basically just need power strength and casting speed. So, with power transfer and sling strength, these two nodes right here, you will be able to get casting speed 40%, actually 50%, and 40% power strength. So that is very, very nice. Now, I think that we all want to see the whack-a-mole stick, and the whack-a-mole stick looks like this. We have focused on corrosive because we do not necessarily benefit from the melee arcanes. Actually, we don't really benefit at all because we do not have them. It is a condition overload build, of course. I am using a primer, which I'll show in just a second, but this weapon does benefit from Tennokai, so that's why we use Dreamer's Wrath. This will increase our critical damage by 32%, which is very nice on Tennokai attacks, so that's even more damage, and that's what we love. Now, there are some things you can definitely change out, but something that I do recommend is the primer of choice, which is going to be the Epitaph. The Epitaph, this is the build that I use. I have Radiation, Viral, and Blast. I decided to go for those 3. If you don't like the build, a lot of people just are really iffy on my builds on the Epitaph, but this is what I like. Secondary Cupboard, of course, there for extra status effects, so that's going to be very, very nice. The melee weapon of choice, because there is an acolyte, I forgot his name, I'm sorry. He basically deactivates all of your abilities, so this is my melee weapon of choice, the Nikana Prime. You can use your strongest melee weapon, it does not matter. You're never gonna use it necessarily, but there might be an opportunity where you're gonna have to, so I do equip one as always. And the primary is pretty much whatever you would possibly like to use. If you don't like the Epitaph, use the Kubanukor. If you don't like the Kubanukor, use the Cedo. It is completely dependent on your playstyle. I think the Epitaph goes best and is the easiest to use with our beloved Wukong. And now we want to talk about the companion of choice, the Panzer. The Panzer is going to be very good. This is basically the same one that I use on Baruch, so Tenacious Bod is going to be very nice because our critical chance is above 50% and we're going to get a flat critical damage multiplier on the screen, so I don't want to mess out the numbers, but basically Synthetic Construct is here as well, Tandem Bond and Synth Fiber. We're going to be gaining a lot of armor through this, and we're also going to be gaining a lot of health throughout the build and also the companion as well, so we're pretty much set. One thing that I do want to talk about before I get into how to actually use the build is I think Wukong needs a little bit of a change. Even with Defy and even with Arcane Guardian active, I still would get one-shot by blast enemy units, so keep that in mind. I was never killed by an acolyte, literally never, but blast Eximus units, or I guess Blitz Eximus units, one-shot me. Their blast comes at me and there's no time to even react, so DE. I don't know what's going on with Wukong, but if 2.4k armor is not enough to at least, save me a little bit, I don't know what is. I do definitely think that he needs sort of a little bit of a tweak there, either health, armor, or something needs to get looked at there. But how to use the build. Basically, all you need to do is activate your Celestial Twin, get a couple of kills, gain a couple of energy, because you do have Equilibrium and Synth Deconstruct, activate your third Wrathful Advanced, and gain multiple, or I guess your critical multiplier, and you also have your damage multiplier from your Panzer, activate your fourth ability, Primal Fury, and go bananas on them. And that's basically it. That's how you play the build. It is basically just a massive game of whack-a-mole, you and your clone running around, smacking enemies' heads in, and when an acolyte appears, just smack him as well. If you deactivate your ability, you can basically just use your third Wrathful Advance and just assassinate them. It is different for Nourish as well, so it is going to be a little bit slower with Nourish, keep that in mind, but it is still an amazing build that I definitely recommend you guys check out. But that has been basically it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do leave a like, comment down below on what you think of the builds in the description down below, and do subscribe for more content. I see a lot of you guys not subscribed. The Weasel army needs to grow, lads, and let's basically just leave it at that. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next one. The Gaming Weasel over and out.